YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. Geez, in Bundy it's the mornings have been a little bit cool. Look, it's still only 11 degrees, so that's okay, it's not too bad. And the thing that makes it a bit dicky of a morning though is that we have a sneaky breeze, a mother-in-law's breath we like to call it. And yeah, with that breeze, it yeah, sort of it sneaks up on you a little bit. Yeah, you go outside and it's a bit cool. So in our little shipping container workshop up here where we're doing the recording at the moment, it's not so bad. I do have a reverse cycle aircon in the corner, and if I'm out here of a night or a morning trying to sort stuff out, yeah, we're quite comfy here. I've got a few jobs to do at the moment in the shed, so that works out okay. Last week's stew and a couple of videos I did, they were only recorded in mono, which there's something going on with some of this stuff. Oh, bloody stuff. And I'm yet to work it out. On our Boya cordless microphone setup here, it's got mono or stereo. You can record in mono or stereo, and I had a look and we were in stereo, but we should be able to record stereo with one microphone. Like I have one microphone here now, and we're recording in stereo, but at the time I didn't realize we were recording in mono. And I have a little laptop and it's a speedy little thing. It's got an i7 chip in it and things like that, and it sped up some of the editing and rendering videos a lot. And being a little laptop, I just bang away and you can hear the sound, and yep, no worries. And until somebody actually mentioned that it was all in mono, I hadn't realised. Because where you do your timeline for your video and where you have your sound underneath, it doesn't split it. You've got to put it in a wave editor to split it. So we could just see the video running along, and I could see the sound running along, and we weren't having any. In my system, it gives us bright yellow peaks if you're getting too loud and too noisy. And so yeah, you just see the sound along and you hear it coming out of the speakers, and the speakers on the laptop are about this far apart. They're just, you know, just shitty little things. And I thought, yeah, bloody mono, what's going on here? So so next thing I was I was down with the laptop and I got one ear here and one ear there, and so off I goes to Woolies, and races off to Woolies and gets myself some headphones so I could actually hear what was going on better, because yeah, one of my subscribers said, oh, you know, they like to hear in both ears, which is bloody fair enough. And so yeah, I thought, yeah, what's going on there? So, and I've actually got a couple of videos up the barrel that I recorded with that gear last weekend, and so I've gone through and I've checked the sound on them, and everything's in bloody mono. And so I've got a few videos to tidy up, so we're probably not going to record anything more until we can sort that out. At the moment I'm just running one of these little microphones into the camera, and that's given us a good stereo signal. And why it's doing it, I don't know. I've got everything set to stereo, but there's something I'm missing with it. So today's Monday. I'm going to try and sort that out if I can. I have time to do it. Last week at work I just didn't have time to spend with it really and sort it out, but I did have time. There's a video coming up with putting a steering box and that on the, I think I've got it loaded. Anyway, that must have been happening. I'm not sure where I'm up to with it, but I actually got on YouTube. Oh, wonderful thing, YouTube, and we had a look at it. And when you put the sound off the mono videos into a wave editor, you can actually see the left and right channels. You can then split them, and so we've worked out that, yeah, we can split it, and there's a little bit of static. And at the start of the clip where the music is the Bundy Bear's Shed jingle, it's stereo, but then it goes back to mono. So we've worked out that we can delete that right hand track and then we can copy the left-hand track and drop it down into the right-hand track and have them mirrored, and then bring them back and do a noise reduction run on it. So I'm a bloody tractor mechanic. All this other shit. But anyway, look, it's a great fun learning thing. It does get frustrating at times. So look, I do have to apologise for the mono. I didn't have a bloody clue, to tell you the truth, and so I've had a look at settings, but I've got everything set to it. So I'm gonna sit down and knuckle down with it today. Oh, I got bloody. I still got my phone in my pocket, binging away, bloody thing. And usually I've pissed it off by now, but yeah. So I was buggering around up the back, recording, putting the steering box on, and I've taken the hydraulic cover off the multi-power tractor, and I've had a look at that, and I've put it back on the 1.356 speed, and set the pipes up and all that sort of thing, and all in bloody mono. So I'm not going to record it all again. I'm not going to pull the tractor down again, but it just means I've got a lot more work to do to sort out the sound. So that's it. That's when you're getting play with the big boys. You got to try and keep up, but I got no hope. And so look, we're still fiddling with all this stuff, and I've learned stuff that with this YouTube channel. We've learned stuff that I never had a clue that I'd have to learn or that. But I am trying to get a nice sound quality happening with it, because I listened to some of my old videos with the creaking of the shed and the whole thing, and I can't stop the shed from creaking, and that's where I have to do my tractors up. So we're going to try and sort that out. So, and but the one thing with it last week, I actually on the waveform editor, I actually learnt that I can take some of that sound out a little bit more than I ever could before. So we've got a sound editor, then a waveform editor, and all that sort of stuff. So look, we're just learning with all that stuff. Yeah, some of you blokes will just think, what's this bastard doing? But it's just yeah, we're just learning as we go, and we're trying to pick the quality of the whole thing up. But in doing that, we've actually dived off the edge, and quality's gone to shit for a bit, but it'll come back up again. And I've got to spend a little bit of time today in Bundy Bear's shed here. I've got a carby to do up for a man. It's off a TE20 tractor, and I won't film that. I've got videos out on doing I'm doing the 28G and the 24T carbies, and I've told someone I'll get that done for them today. And the main shaft in the carby there, yeah, it doesn't need rebushing. It's actually pretty good. But talking to the fella, he was saying that his machine backfired, and he said that bloody thing backfires, and he's put a Bearco carby on, and with the Bearco carby on, he said all of a sudden it's leaking fuel everywhere, and with it leaking fuel everywhere, he's bastard thing, you know. So he's doing this up now to fix that. But when we actually look at his float's damaged, and his float's dinted in, and I'll just see if I can find it. No, I may have left that at work. Yeah, I may have left that one at work. But with when a tractor backfires, sometimes it goes back through the carby, and it can actually collapse your float. So if you have a carby that's running good, and you've been playing with the ignition, and something's going on where it's gone bang and backfired, you can damage the float on them. The brass float that they used originally, everyone used the brass float, and look, they're a great thing, but some of the modern carbies, like the brand new 28G, they're actually using a plastic float. And the thing with a plastic float is it's a bit stronger. They can have it light, but a little bit stronger, and with the backfires, the plastic ones don't tend to collapse and stay collapsed. They'll probably deform and go back to their original shape. So I don't know, I still like the brass ones, old school I suppose. But yeah, so anyway, the end result is I believe he has to look at his ignition setup, and because he says, it doesn't matter what I do to this tractor, it's always backfiring. And I said, well, You know, remember when you're a young bloke and you got an old paddock bomb or something like that, and with the young fellas, you head down a hill and you turn the ignition off and pump on the throttle and turn your key and boom, and probably blow shit out of your muffler. But as a young bloke, that's all good fun. And so I said, what's happening with that is, perhaps check the ignition. So if you have a tractor that's backfiring, it can be one or two things. It can be advanced way too much, and then you actually notice with your tractors when you're turning the key, get someone on the key going and take it around to where it's advanced, and it'll really get hard to wind. Then you can retard it back again. So if you're ever going to crank start your tractor by hand, you don't want it advanced. You want it, top dead centre, thereabouts. And because when it's advanced too far, if it fires a bit early for you, well, that's when it bangs the crank handle out of your hand. So look, I think the idea is to have a look at the for him to have a look at the ignition system. He reckons he's had the dizzy done up, and he's put a wrong rotor in one time and broken a cap or something like that. So anyway, we're going to get this carby done up, and it'll be fine once I've done it. And I've done a heap of them now. And if anyone wants any done in Australia, this one here, all of them, I charge $100, and that doesn't matter how much machining. $100 plus GST, so it's $110. But plus parts, and the kit's $50. And but with this, it needs a new throttle and a new throttle lever, and so it's going to be around $280 done up. But it'll be as new. I have all the new parts here, and it'll work fine. So there's an occasional one we can't sort out, but most of them we can. We don't have trouble with them. So anyway, we'll see. I'll have to put time into that today. And another thing, I use little tripods for the channel, and here, and little microphone stands. And as with everything in life, I've got some light Chinese ones I bought just to get going and off and racing. But sometimes if you've got a boom hanging out on them a bit and you get a gust of wind, you have strife. So the young bloke had this old microphone base, nice big old cast base, and a heavy pipe tube. So there's probably 2 to 3 kilos in this, and the top's been broken off. And there was an old bloke down the road had a bit of a sound studio, and he's gone now. And his wife died of cancer, and they were just music people. And anyway, the young bloke was into guitars, and they came up one time and they had a couple of mic stands, and did he want some? And so we took them, and he's passed on now, the old fella. But this is one of those old time stands. So because it's got a nice bit of weight in it, I'll actually work out something for this end here so we can drop a boom out and see. Where most people can just pop a microphone on a stand and stand there next to it and talk, when you're doing tractor stuff, you're down over, and you can't just stand near the microphone and talk. You've got to have a boom out so it's somewhere near you. So that's a thing coming up. I might try and get some of that done today. I'll see. I've got to do that. I've got to do the carby, and we're doing a vise stand for the shop as well. My blue vise in the shop here, in my little machining shop, it's it's a good little vise. For just general shop stuff. It's no fancy brand. I just got it from Trade Tools for $125, and I have one for work as well. And I've actually got a stand, and we're going to put it on an old stand. So today I'm going to drill and tap the stand and make it so the vise can bolt on it. And I'll see if I've got a couple of bits of aluminium angle iron for soft jaws for it, so if we want to hold something at work. And look, we're not doing major ram repair or anything like that. It's just occasionally someone will say, oh, this is a bit dicky, or particularly if you ever have a warranty thing. It's good to hang on to something like a slave cylinder and pop it apart and just see that it's not full of water or something silly. So it's just good to have we've got a little toolkit at work, so we're just going to get this vise stand going. So part of today's muck around is actually just drilling and tapping that for the vise to bolt on, and then I'll probably take it up the back and over the next week or two and sand it all down and just make it nice. It's an old stand that there was a grinder on, so it's got 57 layers of paint, all looking terrible. And so, but yeah, look, this nephew and niece came down from Banana over the weekend, and yeah, they came on Friday evening after they finished work, and they've sold some cattle. With the drought, they've sold some cattle off, and they work at the mines. They've both got jobs as well, and plus they've got a cattle block, and that's their hobby, and so they've sold some cattle off and done quite well out of it. So they've come camping with us a few times before. So they'd had a look in Rockhampton to upgrade their caravan, and not a lot up there. So they've dealt with tackle vans in Bundaberg, and it's on to Calvin Street, but yeah, tackle vans. And they had an insurance claim with their old van, and they got on well. So they come to town here. They said, "Oh, can we come and stay the weekend, have a bed for the weekend, and then and we'll do the caravan yards over?" And I said, "Oh yeah, fine. Yeah, it's a great chance to get together." So they came down and stayed the weekend, and we had a few sherbets and mucked around, and went out for dinner Saturday night. But on Saturday, they picked up a good second-hand caravan to suit their needs for many years to come. Yeah, their old caravan was it was an old second-hand one with no toilet or shower or that, and it was an entry one just to see if they liked it and all that, and so they've decided as time's gone on to upgrade, and now they've got a nice van with a toilet and a shower and all that sort of thing. So so they've sorted out a deposit for that, and they'll pick it up in a fortnight or so. So they'll probably come down for another visit in a couple of weeks, and we'll have a bit of another yarn and a look at a caravan. So that'll be okay too. Went out Saturday night. My young fella Tim, he turned 29, and so yeah, we had the grandkids and his partner and Ray and Shireen and that, and we all went out and had a good time, and yeah, it wasn't too bad. We got on the grog on Friday night, and then yeah, Saturday morning I was a bit lightheaded. Not crook, not hungover, just fucking a bit lightheaded. So yeah, I don't know. And I made the mistake of telling the missus, and she's, "You all right?" Yeah, yeah, I'm good. I was just a bit light in the head today, and she said, "Oh, that's odd," which is odd for me, but anyway, I probably got dehydrated from drinking too much. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway. Okay, look, that's I don't know what else we're going to get up to with the stew for the day. I've got to put quite a bit of time in. I've got to sort these videos out, so I'll be sitting there rendering for a little while, quite a while, trying to get both speakers working for everyone. The ones that are out there now, I'm not going to go and revisit them, because if you take them back off YouTube, or if I've still got the main files here, but if I get the main files and I clean them up and do all that, then I pop them back on YouTube, well, they lose their place in there, sort of thing, and it gets a bit jumbled. So the couple that are there, I'll leave there, and I might put a little note in the description saying, yeah, mistakenly recorded in mono, your stereo isn't shitting itself. So we'll see how we go with that. So I've got some of that to do. Someone gave us a book the other day, and look, it's bloody interesting. It's a barefoot investor, an Australian investor, and look, it's about people that have got big debt, and it's how, if you've got your credit cards full, how to get out of debt and work away, and set up a couple of bank accounts and a couple of buckets. And anyway, I was reading it away, and I'm thinking, yeah, look, this makes sense. We don't have credit card debt. We have credit cards and things like that, of course, but they're for convenience of running the business and running our lives. And you can buy, well, I've got a Lance Play one, it's called, and that's if I'm out and about and I take a shine to something, can't live without it. I can just go and spend $5,000, and but yeah, look, it's just an interesting thing. If you're interested in getting your retirement set up and all that, have a look at the book. It's $19 at Woolies or something, and I'll probably get the young bloke one, and but yeah, young people seem to have more debt than us old farts, and that's how life goes. But yeah, look, if you get a chance, have a read of it. It's interesting stuff, and there's people that in 20 months, 2 years, they've gone from having credit card debt, and look, they had to be responsible, and they've got themselves a home deposit within that time. So look, that's an interesting thing, and about paying a little bit extra super and all that for your retirement. So so look, if you're into money and you're interested in it, I'm not a money person. I'm a tractor bloke, but it's something that I found interesting last week. I read the book and found it interesting. I'll probably reread a few bits. I'm not associated with it in any way. I just found it interesting. For that was a bit of interest for last week's. So apart from me sound, so but look, that's it. I'll see. I don't know what we're going to get to film today. I'm going to be doing a fair bit of sitting on my arse, and Ross in the shops on an RDO today. So yeah, sometimes when he has an RDO, Ross the day off, Jude gives me a yell and we need bits and pieces done, so you got to do it. So that's it for the week. Thanks for hanging around, and I'll try and record everything in stereo from now on, I promise. All right, see you. Okay, this is just a quick little job that we're doing for the put the vise on the stand here. So I thought I'd just film it. I wasn't going to, but then I thought, oh well, perhaps you've never seen this. This is a little magnetic base for a tap and die. I bought it off Hare and Forbes. It's a Hafco thing, and it just holds it nice and square. So what the idea is oh dear, this vise here is going to sit on that stand, and look, it's just good for our little shop, the vise. Oh, where are we? Turn this fella here, and we can actually turn it around and hang on to something this way, but more commonly hang on to something round if you need to work on it. Yeah, it's not an engineer's vise, it's just to hold something in our shop when we need to. It's got a swivel base down the bottom here, and yeah, it's Renegade, and that's a brand of trade tools, and we have a trade tools store in Bundaberg, and I suppose they're all around the country, but we're going to put it on the stand there, probably get a little set of soft jaws for it, and yeah, just have it so we don't mark things up. I've had it sitting around a while. You can see a little bit of surface rust on it here. That's been upstairs at work there for probably a year. It's on my gunner list, so gonna do this, gonna do that. But anyway, the other day I stumbled across it again, and I thought, oh geez, I haven't done that yet. So we'll just get this, lock the magnet on there. So it's a 3/8 UNC thread we're putting in. A little 3/8 UNC thread, 8mm hole. I had a little grandson helped me drill the holes yesterday. He nearly 3, 2.5, 3. He reckoned that was alright. Pulling the trigger. This piece of channel's just wide enough. I've had to run the drill down the side here a little bit to give us clearance. Look, all in all, it's a pretty good tool. I don't use this much, I don't have the need, but it's certainly does the job anyway. Bring that out a little bit, undo the magnet, put a bit of jungle juice, lock the magnet up, and let's have another go. There's not a lot of load on this here, it just holds it straight really. Just cut nice and easy. I did have a little bench at work, and I was like a little bit of pallet racking bench I found off eBay, and I thought, oh, that'll be a good workshop bench, but it came that handy that that's where I filmed the website parts on. So I've stolen it. I can just feel the tap coming down the side there. It's a little bit, you can feel the flats come and hit, but we won't have long bolts in here. Like, it's only on this stand. You can see it's a little bit wobbly. We'll fix that up. That should be pretty long enough for a bolt to hold that in. And last one, shouldn't take long. Magnet off, line him up, magnet on. These would be good for like John with these railway chassis, you know, model railways and all that. You know, when you got 27 threads down one chassis on a model train or something. But then again, you just set it up in the milling machine. It's just this being built already, this stand, there's no way that's going to fit in my little mill. So we've got to break out the manual tools. But yeah, if you had to tap a thread in a truck chassis or something like that, this would keep you nice and straight anyway, which is what it's about. Looks like it's got here BEM 40, yeah, that's probably an A, BEM ATO. But look, it came from here and forks. I suppose you could always take the magnetic base off it. There's two screws here, and you could probably bolt it to something too if you were worried about it moving, or doing a Bruce and Greg, get her out, you wanted to keep her true, you could bolt it to something maybe. Take him a little bit deeper, I think. See it moving a little bit, that's just me not pulling it straight. Now it's started. You could always start it with this and then get this out of the way and just put a standard T-handle on as well. And there's also the option, might as well show you while I'm going. I don't know which handle it is, must be this other one. Tighten this one up, loosen this one off. You can pop that back on and just use it as a T-handle if you need to. Probably not something you do often, I don't think. Yeah, you're a long way away from the tap up here. We'll just give it a run and see. So once you've started off, yeah, you can't go crooked then. Oh, I suppose you could, but never say never. And it has a positive drive here with an Allen key that locks in on the flats on your tap. So you can see in the guts there, you tighten up the Allen screw, and that gives you a solid drive on your tap. Then you can loosen him off here and take him out again. So there you go. I'll go and find some bolts for this, little 3/8 UNC bolts, and we'll come back and just bolt it on, do a dummy run, and then I'll pull it all apart again. And yeah, you can see it's got a bit of green, John Deere green here, John Deere yellow there. It's all shapes and colours, so we'll tidy it up a bit anyway. Well, there you go. That's bolted down onto the stand, but I haven't got enough of these washers around, and so I'm probably going to put a washer there just to spread the load a little bit. Yeah, just to make it a better job. But look, that's okay. When we tighten this up, we nip that down. It's quite solid. The base, I'll probably put the leg a bit further forward, like down the bottom. We'll pan out a bit, and down the bottom we've got to have a cord in the way. You can see the base there, and it's just a 3-legged base. So for most of what we do, I think that'll be okay. And yeah, that's the job done. I'll get some washers, I'll tidy all this stand up. You can see all the different colours and all that sort of thing there, and we'll try and make it a bit presentable for when someone comes up for a yarn. And that's it. Pretty well job done. And look, just as a matter of interest, we're back in my little humpy, and there's the one I use in here when I've got anything happening. If you can remember, quite some time ago, I actually made some alloy jaws for it, and up in the shop here, it has alloy jaws in it all the time, so if I want to hold something, I can. And we're not very big up in the little hoochie here. I've got my little milling machine there and the lathe around here at the mill, but yeah, that's a handy little thing. Actually, that I don't know how long it's been with that clamp there. It works okay with that clamp. I've got a bolt, it's all drilled and all, I just keep forgetting to buy the bolt, so I'll try and put that on the list and buy a bolt for that with the when I go into the hardware and get the other bits. But look, that's being against the wall of the shipping container here, and it's got a foot down onto the ground, and I may be able to show you, move that around a bit, and I'll drop this down, and that's if the tripod wants to go that way for me. And then I also find that these old 20-litre oil cans with the hole in them, cut them long ways, well, they go good for sitting up there and sitting right snug around the post, so you can catch most of when you're sawing or when you're filing or doing whatever you're doing in the vise, you can actually catch it in that there. So there you go. Another job. Fix this. See you.